Might need to edit that bit out. Hiya, welcome back to Tutor on the Bike. Thanks for coming along for the ride. And this is a continuation of the trip that I did from Castle Douglas through towards Ayr. I stopped at Dalmellington and I had a little drink and a wander about just to stretch the legs, and decided rather than go back the way we came, I thought I'll take this road. Now this road is going to take us from Dalmellington over the hill to Newcomnock and then back onto the A76 to go back to Dumfries. So it's a little circular route just to give you a change of view, I suppose. Excuse me, and give me a change of view. And again, this is a road that I've not been down for a good 10 years or so. And I've not been in Newcomnock for a while, so you could have done with being over the bed a bit. So yeah, a little nostalgia for me as well. I do wish you wouldn't put drain covers in the middle of corners. That'll be a bit slippy when it's raining. So the day is absolutely stunningly beautiful. Thank the Lord for some decent weather. So this road, according to the sat-nav, this is just called Cumnock Road. I'm sure it's probably got a letter number name, but I don't know what it is. I mean, it's lovely. So Dalmellington, as you can see ahead, we've got what was a spoil heap from the tip. I think that was Bank End tip. I may be wrong. Ooh, see, every corner they put the bloody drain covers. So that's been a spoil heap that's grown over a little bit, so it doesn't look terrible. Dalmellington was well, to be honest with you, a good chunk of East Ayrshire was former coal mines. So the town took quite a hit, or the little towns took quite a hit during the miners' strike. What was that, 83, 84, something like that. But also some of the pits had already run their course. Where's these traffic lights that they promised me? Must be along a bit. Wind farm up there. Oh, good. Oh, shite. Heck. Don't tell anybody. There's nobody at the other side anyway. Might need to edit that bit out. So most of the ground round about this area is Forestry Commission owned, which basically means it's owned by everyone, because the Forestry Commission is a national publicly owned organisation, publicly funded organisation. So all that electronic gizmos and things in there is being built to do whatever they do with electricity once it comes out of a windmill. There is some open cast coal mining still goes on in this area as well. Quite windy up here. guess that's why they've got a wind farm after all. Right, we'll have this guy. There we are. That'll help your view a little bit. More roadworks. And we'll stop at this red light, eh? Hey! Don't quite know what they're doing here. You see, that was good. There's nothing more disappointing than just stopping and putting your feet down and the lights change. It's always nice when you don't need to put your feet down. It's always an admission of defeat, isn't it? I remember coming down this road once. I had just at those two corners there, I had a Rover 800, the big Rover at the time, and just as I was going round these corners, my power steering pump failed. Well, I don't think it was a pipe that failed. Dumped all my power steering fluid onto the road, and as a result I had no power steering whatsoever, and it was a bit of a shock because the power steering on a Rover 800 is really, really light, and to suddenly have no power steering, it was like driving a tank. And in the middle of a corner, it's not what I wanted to happen, but anyway, these things happen. For some reason, it wasn't a new car. It was getting on a bit, but for some reason they had run I guess it was for cooling, I suppose. They'd run the power steering pipe in a great big loop right along the front of the car, which caught all the salt and crap off the roads and corroded out. So that was why I dumped all my power steering fluid. But anyway, pulled the belt off so I didn't burn out the pump. Managed to get it back to a garage, and they replaced the pipe for me in no time at all. It was great. I could have done it myself, but I would have had to order up the pipe and things, whereas they were able to just use brake pipes, and they had their own tools to flare it out and put the fittings on the end, so easier for them to do it. And it's lovely. Absolutely gorgeous. Way up to our left, I don't think you can see it probably, but away up to our left is an open cast coal site. Massive big hole in the ground, massive big diggers. If you're into diggers, that would be a wet dream for you, because the diggers there, the excavators there, are absolutely enormous. And you look at them in the bottom of the hole in the ground, and they look tiny, and then when you get up close, they've got maybe 6 or 7 steps to get up to the cab. Whee! There we go. This is lovely, eh? Quite steep downhill, probably won't see that, but it is. So this is us just coming into Burnside. Again, just a tiny little village which served a coal mine years and years ago. This White House on the right, every winter the fella puts up the most amazing Christmas lights, Christmas display. Spends all year planning it and building it and puts it up, and this road along here is quite often queues of traffic, the people coming up to see it. He's got a donation box, he does it for charity, bless him, and it is actually really quite spectacular, but it's well out the way. So up to our right, you won't be able to see it, I don't quite know what that is there, but up to our right is a former pit. It's called, they've taken the level crossing away. Up to our right was a pit, it was called Knockshinnagh, and Knockshinnagh had a disaster. If you Google it, you can look up the Knockshinnagh disaster. What happened was they were obviously mining underground, and we obviously had weather like we've had this past summer, so perpetual rain, and what happened is it softened all the ground at the top of on top of the pit, and it just turned into mud, and the props and stays and things that they had wouldn't support it. So it collapsed in on the pit, and quite a few miners lost their lives. So it was called the Knockshinnagh disaster. Right, this is New Cumnock proper, that's the primary school. So I don't know very many famous people that came from New Cumnock. Burns wrote about it in quite a lot of his poems. Flow Gently, Sweet Afton is the one that comes to mind. And Tom Hunter, who is he owned a company called Sports Division back in the day, and he comes from New Cumnock, and he sold Sports Division and has become a kind of philanthropist. He likes to earn money as only multimillionaires can, and he likes to give it away to worthy causes, and lovely fella. He's Sir Tom Hunter now. One of the things that he's probably most famous for is that the Live 8 concert that Bob Geldof did, not Live 8 but Live 8, the one that was much later. They re-released a song, and basically what Tom did is match the record sales. So any money that they made from the record sales of that record, Tom matched it, which was wonderful. But he does a lot of things for the local area as well. Every primary school child, there's no secondary schools in New Cumnock, every primary school child has a season ticket to the swimming pool, which Tom pays for, and he supports the local football team, Glen Afton Athletic. Right, it is incredibly windy up here, so I'm hoping that you're not picking up too much of it, but it is quite spectacularly windy. It's why it's got so many wind farms in it, I think. So, but this is A76 we're on now, and this is going to take us back to Dumfries. So I'll take you down probably as far as Kirkconnell, and put the cameras off at that stage, because you've been down the rest of that road a number of times, and there's no point in repeating it. But I don't think you've been up here for a while, but it is quite lovely. as I said in my previous video, I stupidly came out on this trip and didn't put spare batteries in my cameras, so whenever the batteries run out, that'll be it. But I think if we stop at Kirkconnell, I think that'll be enough to be going on with. I may well leave them running, but I'll not rely on it because I'll probably not notice when they stop running. View opening up now. Once came up this road, heading in the other direction. I had a sporty car at that stage. I had a Subaru Impreza WRX, and I was following Rab Wilson. Now Rab was the one in a video or two ago where he recited Tam O'Shanter to you, or a part of it anyway. And Rab's he's a poet in his own right, but he used to live down at Sanquhar and worked in Ayr, so he came up this road quite a lot. And I followed him up the road one day just by chance, and he went like hell. I've never seen anybody drive a road as fast as he did. I can't remember what kind of car he had. It was some 3-litre thing, Japanese thing. But I was working hard to keep up with him in my Subaru, I can tell you. He obviously knew the road like the back of his hand, but by Jove, did he send it along. But those are the kind of daft things you do sometimes, isn't it? This corner down here at this little bridge, I don't know why. It must be an adverse camber or something like that. But there is always lorries tipping over just at this corner here. Doesn't feel like it's an adverse camber, but it seems to catch lorries out a lot. There's usually at least 4 a year go off there. So this is Kirkconnell. There's a train just passing to our left. Bumpy, bumpy. My wife will be mad with me for coming this way because this is where my in-laws live, and she's got stuff that she's got to take up to them, and I could have taken it if I'd known I was coming this way. But I had kind of planned to go back the way I came towards Castle Douglas and just changed my mind. So I'll no doubt get her out because she'll be looking at me on Life 360 and going, "Get," or words to that effect. There's a trike. So the road to our right coming up is the road to Kellerholm, which is where my in-laws live and where this van's going. So on on our right shortly, point it out when we get there, you will see a collection of, oh, the sewage works, that's stinking. You'll see a collection of small sheds. It'll be coming up just round, I think, this next corner here. And what that was, those of you who are old enough to remember Brock's fireworks, this is where a lot of them were made. Too early, it's a little bit further along the road yet. And the reason it's all lots of little buildings is because if one went on fire, then the rest of them are not going to catch fire, or one of them exploded, it's not going to send the whole factory up. So here it is, just coming up to our right now. There you go, lots of little sheds and things. That was Brock's fireworks. So each of them individually self-contained, and in the hope that if one exploded, it didn't get the rest of them. I don't know if they exist anymore. I'm going to wipe this camera in case it's got mud on it, flies on it rather. Bugger. So I'm going to end the video there. We're now at Sanquhar. I'm going to pop in and visit a friend, get a cup of coffee, hopefully a pee. So thank you very much again for joining me on this ride. Ride safe, and I'll catch you on the next one. Thank you.